Hello and welcome to the second episode of this return season of Dictating Terms. My name is Nick Milligan. With me, as always, is the philosopher Mitch Power. Mitch, how are you?
Thanks, Nick. Good, thank you.
And Joe Duffy is also here. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Our resident psychologist.
I'm actually not good. I'm sick. I'm like, got a sore throat and but no, I'm good.
It's been going around a little bit, actually. I've been crook for 2 weeks. My voice is particularly husky. I've been medicating my bronchitis with cigarettes, which is always the preferred option.
Self-medicating, they call that.
Or a coffin nail, as I call them, the cigarettes.
Yeah, the old coffin nails. We just want to thank everyone for the response to our first return episode. It was pretty overwhelming. We've been flooded with thousands of messages of thanks for us being back. So we just want to say thank you for coming back and being a part of the show again. I wanted to kind of kick things off with a funny little story that happened to me during the week. And I'm going to try to omit certain information just so, for the sake of, looking after certain people's interests. But basically, what happened, guys, was that a friend of mine who's a musician, he contacted me and a group of people on Facebook and basically said that he had this hot tip, this mail that there was a secret Midnight Oil show happening. Obviously, the Midnight Oil have recently reformed and they're doing a sold-out international tour across America and Europe and Australia. And there has been rumours of them doing small warm-up gigs, unannounced warm-up gigs. So this friend of ours, he'd read some stuff on Facebook and he'd kind of worked out that, we believed he'd worked out that Midnight Oil might be performing at this benefit gig for a surf life-saving group down south. And basically these guys that are at Surf Life-Saving Club that used to raise money by having gigs on a Sunday afternoon outside the club, looking over the ocean, right? So bands would come and play and they'd raise money to support, the lifesavers who, of course, save lives. So it's a good cause.
It's not just a clever name.
No. And so Jim Magini, the guitarist from Midnight Oil, has played there with his band, and he put a big statement on Facebook showing his support for what happened to them. Is that there was a noise complaint, and even though the music always finishes by 5 p.m, they've been shut down. The council's like, you can't do these gigs anymore. So it's bullshit, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway, they've announced this big fundraising gig at the local theatre. And they've made this statement on Facebook, and this is what sort of alerted my friend to the fact that it could be the Oils, because Magini's played there. The date of the show is 2 weeks before they go overseas, and there's all these little clues, and he'd amassed all this information, and all signs pointed to Midnight Oil, right? So this announcement they put up, they said one of Australia's leading rock bands has confirmed to do the benefit gig on March 30. I cannot announce the band until March the 4th. But they are big and generous and love the concept of the show and would love to see it continue into the future. So one of Australia's leading rock bands, okay? So we're like, okay, this is going to be someone big. Now, the tickets went on sale on Friday, and the band was not announced on Saturday.
Oh, no.
So we're all over this. It's $40 a ticket. It's about a 3-hour drive south. We're all on board. We're like, this is going to be amazing. This is definitely the Oils. We're 100% convinced this is happening. So they go on sale on Ticketmaster. I grab 14 tickets for me and the group. Another friend of mine, he jumps on there straight after. He's like, I've already bought him 2 tickets, by the way. He's like, I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more people together. He's bought 6 more tickets.
Don't tell me it was Shannon Nall.
Oh, wait for it. So we bought 20 tickets. Now, for a good cause, of course. So this is not by any means a write-off. But we're waiting for the next day, the announcement to drop that we're going to see Midnight Oil in this little theatre, in this little rural coastal town. And it's going to be the biggest, weekend ever. So anyway, I wake up on Saturday morning, just gone, and jump on there. The band that's playing, they're very generously supporting the show by lending their expertise, is Thirsty Merc.
Oh, no.
Oh, stop. I was actually going to say Thirsty Merc. That was my band that I was...
Really?
Yeah.
Thirsty Merc. So we've got 20 tickets to see the great Thirsty Merc.
Wow.
When we were kind of hoping for the Oils, but so
Thirsty Merc.
It's a Thirsty Merc road trip.
Are they going to do a hits night? Through the couple of singles and
Could they do anything else?
Maybe they could do a Midnight Oil hits night or something. Just
Yeah.
to
That would be
appease
nice.
the
Yeah.
fans.
So it's sort of like hearing, I guess, that, you're going to a secret Bruce
Yeah.
Springsteen show and it's Knowlesy. You get there and it's Knowlesy. So we were a bit deflated.
do you feel like that you've been robbed, or they were a little bit, I can't think of the word, but
deceitful?
deceitful. Yeah, a perfect word. Do you think they were deceitful in their
Look, I don't want to make that accusation, but certainly one of the clues, I should say, that we read online was someone asked the organizer of the show, "Is it Midnight Oil?" And his response was, "I can't say until March 5th."
Oh.
So we were like, he could have said no,
Yeah.
no, it's not the Oils, in case you're planning on bringing 20 people along.
Yeah.
But that's why I haven't named the actual event, because I don't want to say they were being deceitful, because it is a great cause. However, maybe a little bit sneaky.
How are you getting rid of the 14 tickets?
We're going.
Who's the 14?
Well, it's me and a bit of the Junkyard crew from Maitland.
what was their big hit?
Summertime, I think, is one.
Oh,
Mousetrap Heart.
No, Summertime.
Yeah.
Take me back to the
Sweet.
good times,
Good times.
long nights, was it?
Yep.
Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, in the summertime. With Thirsty Merc at a little theatre. So, we're actually going to go and support the cause and, make a road trip out of it to see Thirsty Merc.
Has anyone asked for a refund?
There was discussion about whether the refunds were possible, but I think ultimately, I know one of the guys that's coming along was like, "This is too funny. We absolutely have to go now. Like, it's going to be a great time." So we've embraced it.
And it might be a bit of a tough crowd for Thirsty Merc, because, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to be the supporters that thought they were going to see them. So if they're not up to it, they're going to cop it, I think.
How many tickets were there for sale?
Oh, I'm not sure, but it's only a very small theatre. So, maybe 500.
So they've sold out.
Well, I presume that they might sell out. Yeah, I mean, we jumped on the pre-sale because we were absolutely convinced it was the Oils.
Good on them. Good on the Merc for playing the game and
Well, the Merc have nothing. They've done nothing wrong. Like they're lending their time. It's just we were just a bit deflated. But
I wonder if they said, if you said right, back to the organiser, is it Knowles? Is it Shannon Noel playing tonight? I wonder. He would have said no, it's not Shannon Noel. Is
it Kanye West?
Yeah, but because
I
he
can't
said,
say.
yeah,
I can't
exactly.
say it's Kanye West or not.
because that statement had come out from Jim Magini as
Yeah.
well, supporting it, he probably thought people might think it's the Oils and they might snap up the tickets.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he was playing on it a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
He saw you coming, Nick, didn't he?
He did.
He did.
Yeah, 20 tickets later
Yeah, 20 tickets.
Oh. Anyway,
for the Merc. So, yeah. So
anyway, good on you. You'll have a good night anyway. Couple
Oh.
of beers, bit of live music.
Yep.
There's worse things you could be doing.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
And you have done, haven't you?
No comment, but actually we saw a good show a few weeks back. We went to see Bruce Springsteen out at Hope Estate, where it hailed pretty heavily. Decent size, not as big as golf balls, but kind of getting there. And me and my girlfriend Amanda were huddled in our ponchos under a little gazebo-y type thing, and out of the crowd, out of the 18,000 strong crowd, walks Mitchell Power, just wanders past in his poncho, and we took shelter, I guess, Mitch, together, huddled together.
It was every man for himself, wasn't it?
It was crazy. Like, I've never seen hail at a show before. It was pretty nuts. But Mitchell, once the storm passed over, Mitchell stepped out and he looked up at the sky, and there's all these people standing around who are in a pretty crap mood, I suppose you'd say, and kind of obviously umming and ahhing about even going home. And Mitchell says very loudly and confidently, "Well, at least the storm missed us." And people were like, "Who is this bastard?" Yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
You had to be there, didn't you?
you did have to be there, Mitch. But I thought it was worth recounting. And what do you think about this thing with PETA and telling hunters and collectors to change their name? Have you any thoughts on that?
I think everyone's just going to get a bit carried away with this one.
Yeah.
If you might be better explaining who this Peter bloke is, but these hunters and collectors, this bloke wants them to take their name down because they think it promotes hunting. I just think this has taken the old I can't even think of the word to use.
Yeah. Political correctness.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Nick.
it's
I'm not.
two words.
Yeah,
It's all right.
yeah, I'm just. Yeah. Anyway, so I just think it's gone to a new level with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this band's been around. You know, one of Australia's, really good bands, and they've been around for that long. And some mobs
Yeah.
just rocked up and said,
I don't think any of their songs speak about hunting specifically.
yeah,
Well, I mean, hunters and collectors could apply to anything. They could be vinyl collectors.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fairly generic.
Mm.
It's a publicity grab, I think.
But
But
you
Peter,
don't shoot a vinyl record, do you?
no,
Like you're hunting it.
you don't need one. But you could hunt for them. You go on the hunt
Oh,
for some
that's
good
true.
vinyl. Yeah.
That's true. Sorry, Nick.
It could be hunting for humans. It could have been a cannibalistic tribe of hunters and collectors. So
See, this Peter bloke, he's just jumped straight to the conclusion here, hasn't he?
who does he think he is, this Peter Blake?
Yeah, the nerve.
What's his name?
Peter? What's his
File, probably. Peter. Oh,
Peter File?
no. No, I don't know what his name is, but
It's like asking Jimmy Barnes to change his name because, you trap animals in a barn. You lock
Yeah.
animals in a
Yeah.
barn.
Yeah, Jimmy Free Range.
Jimmy Free Range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's preposterous. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. That's the first part of this episode. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Dictating Terms. We've got a very special new segment for you now. As you may already be aware, philosopher Mitch Power is a published philosopher, world-renowned, one would say, sold 500,000 books, I think, of his last publication, so massive deal. What many people don't realise is that he is also psychic, and he is able to channel the future, I suppose, and see into the future from on high. So this is a new segment now called Higher Power. And we have a letter that was written into us a few weeks back, which Mitch is going to address now. This is a letter from Edward. Edward wrote into us, into Mitch specifically. And he said, Mitch, do you think I will find work soon, as I have been unemployed and on the dole for 2 years and have 2 young children? Mitchell, what do you see for Edward?
G'day, Edward. Thanks for writing in. No, things aren't looking great on the employment front for you. There's not going to be much around. But what I can see is you'll be coming home from a sporting event one afternoon, and you'll be attacked by a little dog. And so there'll be various injuries from that, but the most prominent injury will be an infection. So that'll get you on the disability. I can see that, which will be a bit more than the pension. There'll be a bit more money and a disability for you. So no, the bad news is you won't get a job. The good news on the disability, and you'll have a stronger bond with the kids. But the missus, I'm afraid, will do a bit of a runner on you there. So things aren't ideal on the love front, but those extra $30, that should put something in your pocket for you. Get a couple of tallies or something. Thanks, Edward. Thanks for calling in, mate. Thank you.
Thank you for writing in, Edward. Hopefully that answers the question. Every silver lining, every cloud story has a silver
Poor
lining.
Blake.
things are looking up there and down.
Yeah.
Edward.
That was Higher Power. You're watching Dictating Terms. Welcome back to Dictating Terms. Now, in every episode, we try to find some weird and wonderful stories on the internet. It's never too hard to find something. You don't have to look too far anyway. And this episode, we found a couple of stories relating to postmen. I don't know what the posties have been up to lately, but there's definitely something amiss in the global postal service. The first story we discovered is from the Belfast Telegraph in Northern Ireland, of course. And the headline is, Northern Ireland delivery man who pleasured himself through letterbox caught on CCTV making unwanted delivery. The story reads as follows. A former parcel force driver has expressed enormous shame and regret after performing sex acts in the letterbox of a house in Northern Ireland over a 6-month period. Now, just to state that the letterbox is one of those actual mail slots in the front door. Okay, so he's actually delivering straight into the home. David Camblin, 52, of the Mount Tandragee, County Armagh, pleaded guilty at Fermanagh Magistrates Court. I'm struggling with these Northern Ireland names. Fermanagh Magistrates Court last week to 3 counts of damaging a door and floor on dates between February 1st and August 12th, 2016. So this is going on for quite some time. Last August, a man who was having work done on his late mother's house at Dairies Road in Mania became suspicious after observing a puddle on the floor just inside the front door of the house, the court heard. He installed a CCTV camera to identify the culprit, and footage showed a parcel force van pulling up outside the house one lunchtime. The man walked to the door and placed his private parts in the letterbox of the front door. On the recording, he then appeared to masturbate through the letterbox. The incident lasted a few minutes, just a few minutes, before the man got back into the van and drove off. On a second occasion a few days later, the man noticed the camera as he was carrying out the sex act. After police examined the footage, Camblin was interviewed and denied urinating, but admitted to masturbation. Describing the act as spontaneous, he could offer no other explanation. So that's quite a story. A few other points from the rest of the article is that the victim wanted £5,000 in damages because he wanted to replace the door and I guess emotional distress as well, cleaning of the floor. The judge only gave him £500, not £5,000. So that's and he got 10% of what he was after. He claimed he was unable to rent the property because of what happened for an extended period. He wanted to replace the door, and yes, the Camblin voiced his enormous shame and regret at what happened, and really couldn't explain his actions. So, what do you make of this, fellas? It's a little bit of an unusual one, isn't it? Even for a postie.
Yeah. The word must have got round town, but if he couldn't rent it, you know what I mean?
That's the
Like
cum house.
he's not going to advertise that in the little blurb underneath rent $200 a week.
As seen on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
interesting
it
that
must
he
be a
said
small
that he-
town.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he says that he couldn't rent it. I'm not sure why he couldn't rent it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Mitch says, perhaps
How much damage did this guy's jizz do to the house?
Yeah, well, he had to replace the door, he said. And I guess I can understand that, because every time postage arrives, you would just not want to touch it. You know, like that door, that slot is forever tainted.
I'm picturing like a paper mache pile with the letters and the jizz just building on top
Yeah,
of
you
each
can't
other.
say that.
So this mound of like an anthill just in front of the door.
This sort of sticky
Which that may
anthill,
have, probably prevented rentage.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it does give new meaning to the term junk mail.
Oh,
It's
postman always comes twice. I mean, the postman, how many times has he came in that 6-month period?
Yeah, well,
Like that's twice that we know of, but
this is rivers of
6
cum
months.
inside this house
It's
now.
a targeted attack.
He shouldn't be doing that.
It's strange. I think there's definitely more of a backstory here. He might have known someone that used to live at the house. Maybe he thought this was someone he was getting like a bit of revenge back on. It might have been an ex-lover. Didn't realise the house had been sold, perhaps. It's very targeted. I mean, unless there was something particularly arousing about this particular mail slot. Like he's delivering the mail one day and he's just gone, my God, that is one sexy fucking mail slot.
Tight slot.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a weird thing to do, like this, to target that. I mean, who knows? Maybe he was jizzing all over town.
It's interesting that they say that they thought that he was also urinating.
Well, there was
And
so
then
much liquid.
He denied urinating but admitted to masturbation. If I was in that situation, I'd probably go the other way. I'd probably, I pissed in the slot, but I wasn't masturbating, and it's weird.
Yeah.
I think you better tell the difference between the two substances somehow. I don't think you could explain it away as urine. We're getting down to the forensics of it. I think when you walk into the foyer and it looks like someone's melted 50 wax candles on the floor, and you need ice skates to get to the living room. I think it's fairly apparent. So a very interesting one. Hats off to you, Mr. Camblin, for impressing us with your fairly foul display of deliveries of posties, really.
What did he get for it? Did he get just a good behaviour bond or whatever?
That's a good question. I think he's getting off with a slap on the wrist. He might have been fined. The judge imposed a combination order consisting of 12 months on probation, and probation is kind of what he was doing to the mailbox, and 100 hours of community service. So there you go.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, he's already served the community to a certain extent, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And his poor wife is now left to support him, is she not?
Yeah, apparently in the story it does say, yes, that his wife is supporting him through this terrible time. So
How?
I don't know, maybe
explaining
just
that one.
That's love.
just providing
Yeah.
a bucket,
That's love.
Yeah, yeah.
cleaning up after him. So on you, Mr. Camlin. And we've got another really weird one. I mean, this is going into some pretty dark territory, folks. But we've never been afraid to go into dark.
Not too bad, but is it?
Well, Mitch, just listen. We'll get your assessment. But it's related to the posties as well. So this is the postie episode. All right.
Yep.
You ready? Brace yourself, Mitch, because this one is Minnesota postman charged with bestiality of dog en route. Now this is terrible. Like bestiality is low act.
Should we be going into this sort of territory?
We're about to. We'll do it, and then we'll figure that out later, Mitch. A northern Minnesota letter carrier faces felony charges after prosecutors say he broke into a customer's garage and engaged in a sexual act with a dog. Brian Louis George L. Chapman, quite a distinguished name, 21.
They always have the best name.
They do, yeah.
They do.
Has been charged with 1 count of second-degree burglary, a felony, and 1 count of bestiality, a misdemeanor for acts alleged to have taken place on February 6th. According to a criminal complaint, a Polk County man noticed the mailman was spending a long time in his garage to drop off a package. When the man reviewed surveillance cameras in his garage, he observed the mailman engaged in a sexual act with his dog at about 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. A bit early for bestiality. A Polk County Sheriff's deputy also reviewed the footage and observed the mailman entered with a package, set down the package, and then engaged in a sexual act with the dog.
With his other package.
Yeah, which stayed in the garage. I mean, what? My first thought was that dogs have always been the enemy of the postman. I do wonder whether young Brian Louis George L. Chapman, the 17th, was just trying to get one back for posties everywhere. Was this his way of taking out revenge on dog kind?
He looks like a dog fucker. I'm looking at his photo right now, and yeah.
Or it could be the other way. It could be a truce.
Finding love.
That's what it was. It was actually the bridging of those two opposing parties.
Yeah.
It was like a Romeo and Juliet style scenario.
Postman Pat.
Well, he's heavy patting.
You started with a pat and then...
Just,
Oh,
yeah.
look, I mean,
anyway, I don't think we can talk about this.
no, we can't. We definitely won't
No.
talk about it.
Don't put this on, will you?
No, we definitely cut it out, Mitch. But I mean, it is like the one thing. I mean, there's lots of bad things that a human can do, can inflict upon another living creature. But having your picture out there as a dog fucker is.
Well, it's interesting if you go down and read the rest of the article where it says the punishments for the crimes.
Okay, yeah.
So the burglary charge carries a maximum 10-year sentence with a potential $20,000 fine. The bestiality charge is punishable by 90 days in jail or a $1,000 fine.
That's ridiculous.
So
And the dog gets off scot-free. That's what I don't think.
yeah,
Throw the dog a bone. Yeah. Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, that's not going to stop someone from fucking a dog.
I think-
$1,000. I mean, people would pay that.
he gets a burglary charge. It doesn't say what he actually burgled though. He stole the dog's innocence, perhaps, but like he hasn't stolen anything else. So
Yeah.
where does that come into it?
Well, yeah, they have skipped over that in the story.
90 days or a $1,000 fine.
Yeah, it hardly seems.
Depends how well off you were, wouldn't it?
Yeah. As to
Does
what.
that make sense, what I said there?
Um,
Do you mean 90 days in prison or a $1,000 fine?
yes, that's
Yeah.
the punishment for that. Yeah.
What were you looking at me so weird when I said that for?
Well, I think the punishment is the same for everyone. Like, doesn't matter how much they earn.
I
I
think
thought you
he
get the 90
means-
days or the 1,000. I thought you get your pick.
No, it's both.
I thought the lawyer just says, yeah, I've got two options for you.
Put me down for 1,000, Your Honour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd win on the pokies, I'll take the 1,000, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it's been a dark time for the posties service. I'm sure lots of posties out there. Hashtag not all posties.
Yeah. Well,
For
that
sure.
was one of many postie stories we could have reported on. There's been a lot.
Yeah.
There's thousands.
Yeah.
Something's happening in the postal community. We'll try to get to the bottom of it.
Doors plus no fuss. Isn't that the...
Yeah,
Mm.
that's it.
Put them on as a sponsor.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, maybe that's why we can get them on our side and then dig a bit deeper. But anyway, we'll get to that down the track.
I'll dig you deeper in a minute.
You've been watching Dictating Terms.
Welcome back.
He's done it again. Welcome back to the last part of the second episode of Dictating Terms in this triumphant return season for us. It is the part of the show that everybody loves. We get absolutely flooded with love letters about this particular section. It is, of course, Mitch's motivational minute when the great philosopher Mitch Power gives us an uplifting message to get us through the working week. Mitch, take it away.
The cow only has his grass, water, the weather, and his fellow cow in his life. Us humans have a lot of different temptations, like, your TV, fridge, everything's cold and that sort of stuff. But does that make us any happier than the cow? So, I don't think so. So if you got the grass, water, your mates, that's all you need. But instead of the grass, just change that for food-related items. This has been Mitch's motivational minute. Fuck.
Thank you, Mitch. Moving as
Fuck
always.
that.
No, that was fine. I was moved.
Keep it simple, I think is what he's
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics.
Yeah, I got lost
Yeah.
there. Sorry, Nick.
No,
Sorry, Joe.
That's okay, mate. No, it moved me emotionally and in my pants. You've been listening to and watching, hopefully, Dictating Terms on YouTube or listening on iTunes. It's been very great to be back with you for a second episode. Thank you again for all the support you've been showing us. We do love you guys. Thank you to resident psychologist Joe Duffy for being here.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
Thank you to Mitch again.
Thanks, Nick.
I've been Nick Milligan.
And Elliot.
And Elliot, our producer.
And Elliot. Thank you, Elliot.
Thanks, Elliot.
Mitch is always sure to thank Elliot at the end. We will see you next time on Dictating Terms.